few weeks ago, and I said to him, Hudson, I'm from Melbourne. I know many of the Chinese leaders in Melbourne, but I know fewer of them in Sydney. And in my new portfolio, it's important that I get to meet some of those leaders and get to know them over time. And so, Hudson, thank you for kindly organising this group of impressive people to come together today. And I'm looking forward just to getting to know you, not just today, but hopefully over time as well, and to share ideas and to provide a source of feedback for me, and also for me to share ideas with yourself. So thanks, Hudson, first of all, for coordinating all of this. He's a great organiser, Hudson, and he does have, what was that word, the connections? The
Guangxi.
Hudson's got the Guangxi. I need to learn from Hudson and get in the Guangxi. But can I secondly just acknowledge Councillor Chung as well. It's great to have another elected representative here. So thanks for coming along, and thanks everybody else for coming along and taking the time out of your busy schedules as well. I know that many of you are business leaders yourselves, and so you're giving up some of your time to come along here, and I really appreciate you doing that. Eric and Linda, thank you so much for hosting us here. I've heard a lot about this restaurant. Being from Melbourne, we talk about the flower drummer, and in essence, this is the flower drum equivalent of Sydney, right? And,
better one.
Even better, even better. So I'm looking forward to tasting some of your delicious food, which has been shared by every Prime Minister going back to Bob Hawke. And, so which is pretty impressive. So thank you for hosting us. And listen, I've got a really exciting portfolio now in citizenship and multicultural affairs, and I think, Hudson, you characterised it well in terms of my job really is to ensure that we maintain our successful multicultural country that we have. And the main reason we have such a successful multicultural country is that we've welcomed people from around the world, and we've integrated them into this country, and we've put them at the centre of Australian society to enjoy all the fruits and benefits and to contribute to the country. And we've done this better than any other nation on the planet. Any other nation on the planet, and we've got to ensure that we continue down this journey. And that'll be my task, is where there's issues, to try to resolve the issues. But otherwise, bring people together into the one Australian success story, which is what it is. And just getting to know Eric just briefly here, hearing about Eric's story, and it's a remarkable one, coming from China 30 years ago now. And as, I mean, you'll probably know this, within 2 weeks of Eric and Linda arriving here, they've bought this business and started to get going. I mean, and in some respects, it's not just a successful migrant story, but it's a successful Chinese migrant story where the work ethic is so paramount. And you two have illustrated that right from the get-go, and put in extraordinary hours earlier on to make this the successful business that what it is, and through that employing people and adding to the prosperity of the nation. And I'm sure everybody here has similar types of stories of coming here, contributing to the nation, integrating with the rest of society, and we're all enriched through that process. So thank you to Eric and Linda again. Thank you all for coming along. Throughout the course of the lunch, maybe we can mingle a little bit.
Yeah. You should hear the stories then.
I want to hear some of the stories. Yes. I want to hear about some of your reflections on things that we should be doing differently or better in Canberra, and overall just getting to know you a bit more over the next hour and a half while we've got time to share. So
once we are having something to eat.
Happy New Year to all of the listeners to this program, and I'm here with many of the community leaders here in this magnificent restaurant. It's such a well-known restaurant in Sydney, and listening into what some of those community leaders have to say about what's on their mind, what some of their concerns are, and from that we'll incorporate that into our public policy. But this is a great time for celebrating, not just for the Chinese community here in Australia, but for all Australians that want to celebrate Chinese New Year, the Year of the Dog, the year which represents loyalty and hard work and teamwork, and they're great things for all Australians to aspire to. So I want to thank Hudson Chen for organising today's event. to allow me an opportunity to engage with some of the Sydney Chinese leaders. I'm from Melbourne. I know many of the leaders down there. I was with the Prime Minister on Sunday at the Melbourne Chinese Museum, awakening the largest dragon in the world, which is based in the Melbourne Museum down there, and we kicked off the festival in Melbourne, and it's nice to be up here so soon after that in Sydney to help celebrate Chinese New Year as well with some of the community leaders here. Melbourne with the gold rushes and are an integral part of Australia now through all walks of life, in business, in the arts, in politics, in the community sector, you name it. And they're a part of Australian fabric today. And obviously many Chinese people have come here, they've worked hard, they've established businesses, as many of the people here have done, and through that they've added to the prosperity of this country as well. So we've all been great beneficiaries of Chinese migration, and many people will still come to here from China and contribute to this nation and add to it.
I've got a question on citizenship law. Is the government going to introduce a new party in Cambridge anytime soon?
Yeah, so this concerns the citizenship law changes which were announced last year, and I'm consulting in relation to those particular changes, but we do intend to introduce some new measures which set higher aspirations on migrants for when they come to this country and become citizens. The overall objective, of course, is to ensure that when migrants come here, they can integrate as well as humanly possible into this nation and become at the centre of the nation and not on the periphery. And in order to do that, of course, people need to speak some basic English, they need to integrate into the community and demonstrate Australian values. And we'd like to be high rates at present, and the Cabinet will make a decision year to year as to what the future rate should be.
Minister, I've got a question. Say, for instance, I'm a businessman and